So thanks you all for joining today. Um, I'm really, really excited about our presentation today and our speakers. So today we're going to be talking about navigating social media and hiring decisions. And this actually came from the community. So there was some conversation on our Slack channel with our CX Exchange LinkedIn Success Circle group around posting things on LinkedIn and just feeling really being able to feel secure in the hiring decisions that recruiters are making and that they're safeguarding any, how they represent themselves. So this is how that came up. We have some great speakers, which I will introduce in a second. So a little bit about me, and Jen will talk about herself. I've been in the in the tech industry and in software tech for 20 years. I've been in customer success for 10 years. And I've been worked at Autodesk, managing subscription business models, digital customer success. I've worked at VMware managing teams of CSMs as well as digital customer success. And I most recently, actually, I haven't even updated this slide yet, but I've just joined Alteryx as their director of digital customer success. So that's a little about me, and I am in New Hampshire, so it's very, very hot on the East Coast. And Jen, you want to talk a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Thanks again, everyone. Jennifer Milton. I'm located in Brooklyn, New York. I currently work as a customer success director for Seismic, which is a sales enablement platform. I tell people all the time I've been in customer success before it was customer success. Been doing this for 20 years, it feels like. Excited for these type of community calls to share and gain knowledge from you and receive knowledge from our speakers. So absolutely, if there's anything that I can do to help or answer any questions for anyone today, feel free to reach out to me via LinkedIn. And I'm happy that everyone has joined today. So that's all I got.
Thanks, Jen. So before we get started with our session and introducing our speakers and talking about our expected outcomes, we want to do a quick little fun icebreaker. So if everyone can open up their, now I can't.
It's your reactions, the
The
reaction.
reactions. So look at your reactions and find your heart reaction and your rocket reaction. And we want to know if people are dog or cat people. So if
Oh,
you're a dog person, show your heart reaction. If you're a cat person, show your rocket reaction.
You're both, Emily.
I don't know.
I
Maybe we
can't
should stop
find it.
sharing for a second so we can see everybody's reactions.
Oh, okay. Stop sharing. Good. Then I can do my reaction.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Now I got to do my reaction.
I love all animals, but I am a
That
cat.
was fun. All right. Thanks for playing.
Shout out to the cat people.
All right. I'm going to get started again. All right. Can everybody see my screen okay?
Yes.
Yes.
So just to introduce our session today, so the purpose of this is to really build that confidence in creating your LinkedIn content, especially as you're marketing yourself as a CS professional. The goals for this session is to provide actionable LinkedIn tips and share strategies out to boost that visibility. And I really think that Jen and I have gotten some great speakers to help us out with that. So I'll go right into that. So Leanne, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Hi, everyone. My name is Leanne Hutter, and I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I'm currently working as an executive coach, specializing in leadership and career transitions. And previous to that, I worked at LinkedIn for a decade, actually over a decade. LinkedIn, I joined up LinkedIn before it was even a public company back in 2011. And I've had the opportunity to work on product strategy and design over the years and partner with so many wonderful people in people success. And so I'm really happy to be here and share my experience using the LinkedIn platform to help you feel more comfortable and really get the most out of the LinkedIn experience.
Awesome. Thanks, Leanne. And next we have Michelle Kiernan.
Hey, everyone. Thanks, Emily. Thanks, Six Exchange for having me today. So I am a principal recruiter at Autodesk. We're the founders of AutoCAD, been around since 1982.
Mhm.
But I've been with Autodesk since May 2014, so it's been a very long time. But I am here to hopefully do some knowledge sharing with everyone and improve your LinkedIn. And hopefully people will use LinkedIn as much as they can to help them find their next opportunity. But I'm excited to be here today and ready to just, again, knowledge share.
Awesome. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Leanne. So first we wanted to hear from you, and we wanted to do a live poll. I do not think that we have the ability to do a live poll. I was trying earlier, and so Jen, I think what I'll do is I'll stop sharing and we can use our chat, if that makes sense. Is that okay?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So the first poll that we have is, and you can just put your answer in the chat so that we can see where everybody's at. Are you using LinkedIn today? Yes, no, but I am curious, or wait, what's LinkedIn? Yes, 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 yes.
I see a
Go,
lot of yeses.
everyone, several times a day.
Several times a day.
Ah,
Nice, Kevin.
but not enough.
Ah,
I saw not enough. I don't know who that was.
That was Nicole.
Ah, Nicole, not enough. Hopefully after this, you'll be using it more.
Hopefully, yes, that's the goal.
All right, next question, last question. What's your social media superpower? So I've got a list of 6 of them. 1, hiring or job hunting. 2, building connections. 3, learning new skills. 4, strengthening relationships. 5, joining conversations. Or 6, sharing your brilliance. So which superpower do you have? Job hunting? 4, strengthening relationships. All of the above. Michelle.
Wanted to join in
Job
on the fun.
hunting, building connections, strengthening relationships. Lots of superheroes
Oh,
here. I'm seeing a lot of people with superpowers.
This is really
love it.
great. Yeah, I love it.
That's fun. All right. Well, thank you all for sharing. Not job hunting, Jan.
That's good, Jen. Or Jan.
All right. So now we'll get into the panel discussion, and we've created some questions that we're going to ask, and then we'll go into, so we'll do this for about 15-20 minutes to hear from our speakers, our experts, and then we'll go into breakout sessions for everyone to collaborate with each other and just talk about their own LinkedIn strategies and what you've learned. And then we'll come back as a team and share the results of what we've all learned from each other. So we can get started, and all right. So first question for both Leanne and Michelle. So hey, Leanne and Michelle, thank you for joining again. So for both of you, what's one thing you really hope that people take away from today's session? And we'll start with Leanne.
Sure, sure. One thing to take away from the session today is to just feel more comfortable in the way that you engage, more comfortable in the way that you build relationships and connect on LinkedIn, because really the platform, that's what it's all about. And we're going to talk in more detail about how to really take advantage of all of the great features and nooks and crannies of getting conversations going on LinkedIn.
That's great. And Michelle?
Mine is hopefully everyone could sexify their LinkedIn profile. I always say that because it's a free tool. So take advantage of how you promote yourself. And so I hope today we can help you build your confidence and feeling secure on what content that you put for your LinkedIn profile, your photos and everything else. But I'm excited to share all this knowledge with everyone.
Awesome. Sexify. That's a new word. Remember that one.
Just don't put that as your title.
Depends on
The
the
next
role
question.
that you're going for, I guess.
True. So Leanne, you mentioned comfortability and making sure that everyone's feeling comfortable. How can engaging in conversations help people build their professional reputation?
Yeah, wonderful question. So, when I think about LinkedIn, think about actually the times when you fire up the app on your mobile phone or your desktop and you land on that homepage and you see that feed of conversations. I would like to invite you to actually think about that like a room full of people talking with each other. And imagine that every single post is a conversation, an invitation to chat. People post because they want to respond and they want to get into it, right? They want to spark a two-way conversation. So the first thing I would invite you to do is to look at the kinds of conversations that are appearing on your LinkedIn feed. Are they engaging to you? Are you connected with and following people that really kind of inspire you and spark in you the desire to respond to what you're seeing? That is one of the most easy and powerful ways to just really get into making and contributing good content. Sometimes we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. Oh, I've got to make this post. I've got to make it all about something profound and something unique. Well, think again about the kinds of like valuable conversations that you're having in your everyday life, maybe with colleagues or partners. See if you can bring that into the kinds of comments that you're making on LinkedIn posts. That is a really wonderful place to start. If you're not already engaging, getting comfortable there. And if you are actually feeling comfortable with the commenting and the engaging in conversation, then I would say if you find yourself so into writing a comment and it starts to get really long, that's your signal. You've got to post. You've got something to say. So I'll pause there. I'd love to pass it to Michelle.
I like that a lot. Michelle, did you have any thoughts on that?
Can you repeat that question again?
Yeah. How can engaging in conversations help build your professional reputation?
Oh, yes. Networking is super important. It's important to get out there and I don't know if for some people who are introverts, but I still feel if you're passionate about like customer success, you go out there and join like communities and really, because if you're passionate about what you do and you want to share it, definitely there are others who will want to get engaged as well. But networking is super, super important. And I think LinkedIn gives you this opportunity and take advantage of it. There's so many groups, regardless of location, join because knowledge is power.
So true. Yeah, Leanne, what you had said really resonates with me because I think, before I started talking to you, the last month that we've been preparing for this, I was very much like, I've got to make my post so awesome that everyone knows that I'm in customer success and I'm an expert in customer success. But I've since changed my strategy that I'm focusing on those conversations and focusing on commenting on what people are writing and being more thoughtful and not just using the congratulations, you know what I mean? Like actually really posting something. So thank you. Thank you both for that.
If I can just
Yeah.
tap across what you just said, Emily, but as like someone who runs social programs for other groups, that's such a major, and like everything Leanne said was so on point, but it's a conversation, right? You can't have a one-way conversation, and you shouldn't. And so you should engage with other people to continue that conversation. It's super critical, but it kind of tickles that algorithm too, and it makes you more visible. So if you're trying to grow your network, it's also a great way to do that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
true.
I'd love to just build on that for a moment. So one of the ways that I notice that people engage with me by looking at my profile or following me is when I jump into a pretty rich conversation. That's when
Yes.
I can jump into the stream of something that's already engaging to people. I can
Mhm.
communicate something hopefully valuable, something, more than just like you were saying, Emily, congratulations, or I agree. Why? Why do you agree? What can you offer from your professional perspective that could be a value add to the conversation? What sparks your energy? Really pay attention when you see these conversations. What sparks your energy? Follow that energy and contribute. And that will, you may notice, that will result in more people looking at your profile, potentially following you and also connecting with you.
Great. So I'm going to flip it on its head a little bit. We've talked about some really, really great stuff and things that we can do that would be good. But Michelle, this question's for you from a recruiter's perspective. What are some common red flags that you might pick up on?
On someone's LinkedIn profile. A lot is misspelling of words, dates that are not correct, or graduation, or they'll put a graduation date and they haven't graduated, or their photos. I think LinkedIn photos are very important if you're going for a professional position, that you have a professional photo. So those are some of the red flags that I see when I look at LinkedIn. And I do sometimes look at people's posts. For example, if I'm hiring a customer success manager and they tend to post a lot, I actually like people who are active on LinkedIn, right?
Mm.
To really, especially if they're talking about their company, what they're doing in customer success or their projects. Those are the kind of posts that I like versus just posts that are, like me, job descriptions, job opportunities. But when it's really substance or good content, that's what hiring manager and I look for on LinkedIn.
Can you maybe define a little bit what like active is? Is that like once a week or once a month or once a year? Like a little bit, just give everyone an idea of what you consider active.
Once a week, definitely. That's great. If you could post once a week about what you do or anything in your industry, that just shows that you're on top of it sometimes. And don't post just to post. Like, for example, I used to do a series. It's like, hey, if you're interviewing for a job at Autodesk, right? Here's here's what you do for, interview number one. Send your thank yous after you're done, or make sure your questions are strategic, like all that. I like a series is nice because when you start posting for a series of something you do in your industry, people will want to follow, right? What is she doing week one? What is she going to talk about week two? Or, week one is resume writing. Week two is about interview. Week three is about how to follow up after interviews. So again, series are nice too.
I like that. Becoming that reason to follow me. Like, see what I'm up
Yes.
to this
And
week.
keep following you.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love that.
Have a question in the chat. Did you want to do those now or wait till later?
Sure, let's do it now.
We have one question on how do you make sure that you see the post you're interested in? I guess this person says they see a lot of things that they're not interested in, that do show up. And I would say you just engage on the stuff that you're interested in, and then, but I don't know if either of you have like suggestions as well on that one.
I do. I have
Leanne.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So here's what I recommend. If you look through your LinkedIn feed and you find even just one person who's posting something that's professionally interesting to you, or maybe personally too, check out who they follow. Check out what company they belong to and who else might be there. So it just bouncing off of one or two interesting people, you can discover others or look at who's commenting on their post. You can discover a lot of people just through looking through comments and say, hey, that person's actually made some really interesting contribution to this conversation. Click on their profile, check them out, and then if they seem like they're actively engaged, follow them. Definitely people in your organization. If you're a job seeker, you want to be absolutely following the companies and the leaders at companies that you're interested in working for, and just take a little bit of time to like see how people are engaging. And sometimes it only takes a few to kind of open up the portal of a lot of people that are active and engaging.
Great. Good advice. So the next question is around balancing out we're professionals, but we're also human beings, right? And how do we balance out being authentic while still being professional? So why don't I start with Michelle?
Yeah, that's super important too, because when you come across genuine, people could usually tell and feel it, right? And super important to really know your audience on what you're posting as well. But I'm always careful with what I post, right? Especially because I work for I work for a company. I still work full time, and my job is all about recruiting. So LinkedIn is just my world. So what I post there, I'm very careful. I try to keep politics out of everything, right? Because that could heat up things. But being genuine, I think, is and authentic is important. Like when I say sexify your LinkedIn, and it's really just, making it look good, making it pop, your LinkedIn. And important to try to add the things that would be important for those people that you want to reach out to. For example, like if I wanted a new job, and I'd want my LinkedIn profile to really reach out to like recruiting hiring managers, right? It's important to know your audience again, who you're targeting, and just be careful on what you post on there. But be genuine.
Be genuine.
Be genuine.
Leanne, any advice for you about how to be genuine?
Yeah, I would say really try to think about the times in your own work that you are able to be professional and genuine. I'm sure there's so many moments, conversations that you have, again, with partners or peers or direct reports. Think about how you show up for them, how you are helpful, how you are strategic, how you are, engaging with people and getting positive feedback on the value that you're adding. Kind of think about that vibe, what feels good, what kind of positive response you get in your real life. And
Mm,
and then just, you can carry that in the conversations that you have online and LinkedIn too.
nice. So the next question is for Michelle. And of course, Leanne, Jen, you can add in your color commentary. And this is particular for the customer success industry. So we saw a lot of changes in the role. We saw a lot of people losing their positions in customer success, a lot of shifts in customer success roles. So given the unpredictable job market, especially for customer success, and the lasting effects that we've had from the Great Resignation, what advice do you have for job seekers feeling discouraged about LinkedIn?
Yeah, I would say there are other tools that you can use besides LinkedIn, like your own network, maybe your partner's friends or your own friends. It's good to talk about it, especially in today's market. We have more candidates than jobs available, right? It's unfortunate, but definitely join groups out there. I know, Leanne, I can't wait to hear your answer actually for this because I think yours is going to be super effective. But really talk about it, discuss it. You'll be surprised, but sometimes I'll go into an elevator and my husband will tell me, "Hey, we're gonna get into this elevator. We don't need new friends." But I just love to like meet new people. I mean, I sell people for a living, right, as a recruiter. So I enjoy meeting new people, asking what they do, and you'll be surprised that I'll be able to connect people. And it's kind of like how I got my job, how I got into recruiting. I was at the golf course, met this guy, and I was like, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" And then all of a sudden, I'm like, "Well, I'm interested in moving back to Northern California." And he's like, "Well, I've got a friend for you to meet." So it's really just talk about it. Don't be ashamed or embarrassed that you're looking for a new job. I think networking and connecting is going to be key for you to get your new job, especially in this market. You'll be surprised. And don't be afraid to keep interviewing with folks like that you've interviewed with, connect with them, send emails once in a while, even though you didn't get the job. But again, these people are like decision makers, right? So connect with them and keep connecting with them. You'll be surprised because you might get into an interview and they go, "Hey, you know what, Michelle? I'm not hiring, but I know a colleague of mine is hiring, and I think you'd be a better fit for that person." So, you know, don't be discouraged, just keep going.
I'm smiling because I just saw the comment from Lisa about I think you said that you got a job from having a conversation with somebody at a dog park.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
An interview,
Nice.
right? I think it's like just getting the interview is
Interview.
the first step. But
Yes.
yeah, even use dog park folks.
But
Yeah.
getting in
Yeah,
the
I love
car,
it.
and you've got a picture of your dog. You must have done the heart and not the rocket. Leanne, anything to add about making connections and ways to do that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, Michelle, I just think everything you said is so right on. And what really stood out to me about your comment is about the curiosity, right? Being open and curious is huge. And also just wanted to recognize that job seeking is hard. And it's impacting so many people that we know. It's impacting personally friends and clients of mine. And I just want to acknowledge that. I just want to just recognize that it's a challenge. It is a challenge. And sometimes it can feel really lonely too. The thing about LinkedIn is that it is a community, a platform of people that's all about relationships. Actually, when LinkedIn was first launched in 2003, the original tagline was relationships matter. And so I just want to encourage you to feel free to reach out to someone in your network that maybe you haven't spoken to in a while. It's okay. If you're on the platform, it's okay to reach out. If somebody doesn't want to respond, there could be a million reasons why they don't, all of them having nothing to do with you. If you don't get a response, move on. I also want to encourage you to follow the companies that you're interested in, because that is a signal that recruiters can see on the back end when they use LinkedIn Recruiter to check out your profile. Engage with employees, hiring managers, and recruiters from the companies that you're interested in, and see if there's an opportunity to offer a perspective. Offer a perspective on what's going on in their companies. See if you can basically make it a little bit personal, right? It's not just I'm applying for a job at X, but I'm really interested in what X company is doing. This resonates with me because start a conversation. Find out what's important to people that work at other companies and where the intersection is between what's important to them and what's important to you. And that's a perfect opportunity to start a meaningful conversation with someone, even if you don't know them.
That's a great segue. Sorry, go ahead.
I just want to ask a question, follow-up question to that, Leanne, because oftentimes people will want to reach out to a hiring manager once a role is posted. And, sometimes they'll say, "Oh, hey, Jan, I see your link, you're connected to them. Will you introduce me?" And I usually try to check with the hiring manager, before doing that. And I almost invariably hear back from them, "Oh, we've already got hundreds of people. I've got hundreds of DMs in my inbox, please just have them apply. And unless I know them really well and can say, oh, hey, well, you may want to look for them because I think they'll connect for these following reasons, I don't have much to say about it. Like sometimes it can help to have a weak connection and sometimes, it doesn't. But I guess it just seems like if you're going to connect with hiring managers, the way I've heard to do it is to comment on their posts and connect with people who are, at the company that you're targeting before there's a role posted, as opposed to once the role is posted. Is that sort of the context that you were thinking of when you were suggesting that, or were you suggesting something different? I didn't know if like this aligns with what you're thinking about.
Yeah, John, really great question. And I totally agree. And I can speak to this actually from the perspective because I have been a hiring manager for many years at LinkedIn. And so, yes, it's true. When we had open roles, we had a lot of incoming. I had a lot of incoming into my own, inbox, people messaging me. And I would say that what really stood out was when somebody tried to connect with me on a deeper level. It was fascinating how many people were just like, I'm interested in the job, here's my profile. And I was like, okay, great, But when somebody tried to engage me in a conversation, or if they commented on my posts or something like that, now I start to see them not as simply an applicant, but as a person that I'm talking to. And it starts to change the relationship a little bit. And so that's what I would encourage. Really just try to be sincere and engaging in your context, not just here I am, here's my link. That's not going to be as engaging because so many people just keep it on that level.
Do the same. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good one, Leanne.
can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah, so I think along the same lines, I mean, Jan asked and Leah, you're responding saying, hey, I would feel more engaged if the person while applying says something more, right? Something that you can connect to. But more so, you made a comment, yeah, if they have commented on my post on LinkedIn, equivalent to somebody following you. But for me, all that you're saying is I should be pre-connected to you. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, let me take example of Autodesk, and that actually happened to me. Some recruiter at Autodesk saw my profile and they reached out to me. And actually that position is a pretty high level position that it was not even advertised. The position is not yet advertised. And they just pinged me and I engaged and all. And then they kind of ghosted me. That's what happened, right? So now, and to BRF, credit, I can understand something in my LinkedIn attracted them, right? That in the first place they approached me and they thought I'm a good fit or they profiled me to be something matching. And I think I did have the recruiter call. Yeah, I talked to her, had the recruiter call, but after that, it was not even a denial, right? It was just ghosting. So the point I'm making is me as a job seeker, it didn't give me a good vibe, right? And would I connect to such a person? I can think this person really seeked me out and tried fitting me for a job which was not even advertised, which is great. So I could follow them. Or I could say, hey, you've ghosted me, not a good experience. Not. So the point I'm making is over so many years, I have a lot of recruiter connections, and these recruiters have also moved companies. And most of these recruiters are those who reached out to me and then we got connected. But I think over time, they're not going to remember me unless, like you're saying, Leah, keep engaged. But how much can you keep engaged with all these recruiters and how far? You get my point. So my thinking is, I
Michelle, I
mean,
think that probably
Michelle
happens.
can speak for as from the recruiter standpoint, but that will happen. and how do I bubble up, right? When I see an opportunity, possibly at a later point in a place where they are actually working, because they have also moved. Okay, these recruiters have moved
Yeah.
from one.
I,
Go ahead, Michelle.
I could answer some of that. I don't know what happened between you and the other recruiter, but if it's recent, I have 1,000 candidates that reach out to me almost daily, right? So, but the fact that they reached out to you, I don't know if they were a recruiter or if they were a sourcer. So a sourcer is different from a recruiter where they just build pipeline for us and then they just build relationships with you and say, "Hey, this could be a possible role for you or just a possible opportunity in Autodesk. Let me get to know you." Right?
Mhm.
But I think like I tell a lot of my mentees who are looking for jobs today that it's important to build your relationship with recruiters because it's
Mhm.
free on LinkedIn. It's free, right? We're
Right.
not charging you, but it's not a full-time job for me to go find a job for them. They have to do the work. What I could do is guide them, but super important to build a relationship with that recruiter, right? But again, I have so many candidates. I've hired probably over 1,300 people in Autodesk. And I had someone go, "Hey, do you remember me? I remember when you first started at Autodesk. You hired me and I don't remember her." So
Right.
it's hard, but if she kept in touch with me like I do with my mentees, they keep in touch, it's easier for us to remember. But you have to be proactive when it comes to finding a job.
Yeah.
Right. And again, I will always have like networking and building those relationships and connecting with the right people, like decision makers. Recruiters are your gatekeepers, not your
I
decision
realize
makers.
I realize that
So,
many
yeah,
times.
yeah. But don't get discouraged with one recruiter. I mean, I don't know what to say and I can't explain anything,
No,
but
so just building on that, how do you identify a sourcer versus a recruiter? All of them have the title recruiter within a company, or a sourcer
no,
would
they should have a
have,
sourcer title. Yeah.
no, and a
So,
different email ID, not the company email ID, or there's no
no,
difference between
no,
them.
it's hard to say. Some companies outsource their sourcing
Right.
team, but Autodesk doesn't. So
Okay.
So let
yeah,
me just switch gears because I'm looking at the time and we're right at time, and I want to make sure that we have time for breakout rooms.
Thank
Um,
you very much.
yeah, thank you for the question.
yeah.
Great question. So just parlaying on what Leanne had said around relationships matter, which was the old tag name for LinkedIn, right? And starting that conversation, I'd love to go into breakout rooms and allow us to have a little bit more of a intimate conversation with some folks. Hi everyone, welcome back.
Oh, that was fast. That
That
was
was super
quick.
fast. I was like looking at the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, we got to bring people back because I don't know if Michelle, Leanne, Jen, if you had anything come up that I'm trying to work really fast right now. We have probably like 2 minutes before we have to close up.
I
But
was in
any good nuggets?
Yeah, I was in group one. We had a lot of excellent people who, shared that they're challenged with thought leadership and just trying to feel inspired to post, but also like just a little bit maybe not timid, but unsure of being authentic in their thought leadership posts. So and like we can talk about that further in the Slack channel to kind of give ideas and that sort of thing. And then there's a lot of kind of frequently asked questions that we talk to too that we can incorporate in the Slack channel as well. I don't know if anyone in the other groups had stuff to share as well.
Yeah, Michelle, Leanne, anything?
I was with Jen.
I was Michelle.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you must have been with Megan because you were talking about thought leadership.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Megan was in there.
Leanne, anything from your group?
Yeah, we had some great tips that were shared amongst us. We talked about the about section and using the description or the perspective of I to tell your story, and really think about that the LinkedIn profile and your engagement is kind of telling the complete story of you. And also, there's a lot of different ways to engage. And, we've got someone that really likes to keep it more kind of one-on-one and personal through, direct messages. And if that works for you, that's fantastic too. So there isn't one way that you have to do it. You can experiment and find what feels comfortable and authentic to you.
I like that. Yeah. That's the second time I've heard that I statement in like 3 weeks. I'm glad you said that. I was in a group with Kevin, and Kevin actually had a really good nugget that I thought would be interesting to share with the group.
Great, thanks, Emily. Yeah, the nugget involves spoofing the LinkedIn algorithm so that it thinks that you have a new updated profile. In your profile, you can click on open to work. And I don't mean the green banner. I mean the notification that you are open to work, which is seen by people who have the recruiter edition of LinkedIn. You can shut that off for what I found works is about 75 hours. So on Thursday, sometime I shut it off and then turn it back on Sunday afternoon. And then on Monday, Tuesday or so, I start getting some fresh inbounds. Usually they are from recruiters.
I totally agree with Aaron. That is an awesome life tip. I thought that was really interesting. And I'm glad that that nugget was brought up because Michelle had actually talked about the open to work, not the banner, but the one that recruiters can see. So that was, I didn't get to that, Michelle, sorry.
No.
I kind of was able to parlay that in from Kevin's little nugget too.
And
Yes.
So
Yeah,
we're
Oh,
saying
go ahead,
keep
Leanne.
the toggle, but not the other one.
exactly. It's not the banner on your picture, but it's the back end that
The back
recruiters
end.
see.
Yeah.
yeah, just to add to that, you can make that private, meaning just signal recruiters, or you
Mhm.
can make it so that it signals your whole network. So you have the optionality with the visibility there. And one other way to get visibility to your profile is by adding content to it. So of course, when you add a new role, LinkedIn will automatically ask you, oh, would you like to share this with your network? But what if you don't have a new role to share? What about if you have a new project? Or you have a new volunteer opportunity? LinkedIn will prompt you to share that with your network. LinkedIn considers that really good quality content. And so the algorithm loves that. So feel free to contribute to your LinkedIn profile by adding more rich content to it, and it will really have a great chance of breaking through and being seen by more of your network that way.
Yeah.
Jan had a comment or a question. Can you show us where that's at in your LinkedIn profile? It's under me, like you, and then click under and it'll say settings and privacy.
Can you just show it? Do you want to share your
Um,
screen and just show it?
Yeah, if I can share, can I share my screen? It'll be real quick.
Sure can. Yeah.
And it's this one. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's the LinkedIn one, because so do you see where my LinkedIn profile is at?
Yep.
Under here, it's settings and privacy. And play around with it. There's data privacy, visibility. You can update your location. There's sound effects. There's so many features that LinkedIn offers for free. Please take advantage.
And then where would you put on the work?
For the privacy,
Oh, Michelle, I think,
Yeah.
is the question around open to work?
Yeah, for
if
the
it's open, if it's
That's
open
on
to
your
work,
profile.
sorry. That's
Mhm.
under your profile.
Yep.
So if that's the case, I thought it was more the privacy. It will be my profile. And right here, open to work. I think it's around there.
Yeah.
It's funny is I
Yeah.
just don't know how to use it because I haven't.
Yeah, you
Right.
just
Yeah.
just
You're the
click on the
original.
little pencil in the
Screenshot
upper
and
right
put it-
corner. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe we'll get a screenshot and update it in the Slack channel too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can do that for sure.
and you know, I didn't get to mention it earlier, but when you're looking for a new position, or you could always put in the title, you know, looking for full-time work or customer success, you know, expert or success guru looking for a new challenge. You know, you could always play around and again, just have fun with it. And you could change it a week later to something else, but be creative and be active.
All right, thanks everyone. I know I've got to jump for another meeting, but another successful LinkedIn Success Circle. Thanks everyone.
everybody.
Yeah.
See you.
Thanks, everybody.
Lynn.
Thanks.
Thank
Luck
you.
out there.
Leanne,
Bye. Take care.
Michelle.